This video is brought to you by Surfshark. Stick around to hear more about the discount they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. All right, today we're talking about the total degradation of what is commonly referred to as the internet. Now, you may hear that and think to yourself, what's with the melodrama? The internet is fine. What could he possibly be talking about? And I completely understand the impulse. However, if you're willing to take the time, and most importantly, if you're able to think critically, I'd ask you to give me a couple of minutes here to explain my logic and showcase a series of examples indicating that yes, the internet is on a rapid downward spiral of both quality and quantity, very much justifying the title of this video. Much like constructing a house, we need to establish a
Also
foundation
der Titel des Videos ist the shittification of the Internet.
before building the topic upwards, and for our purpose today, that foundation is called Dead Internet
Der YouTuber heißt Echolon.
Theory. Now, the term dead internet theory has debatably been around since the early 2010s, likely originating on internet message boards like 4chan, for example, with a moniker originally.
Ja, Dead Internet Theory kenne ich auch. Ne? Das heißt einfach nur, dass eigentlich alles Bots ist. Alles automatisierter Content und man fast keine Menschen mehr trifft im Internet.
Coined by a user named Illuminati Pirate, but far more important than its origin is its message. Dead internet theory suggests that the World Wide Web, far from its initial construction, has been overrun with bot traffic and automated activity, so much so that the supermajority of all online content is now fake. The theory proposes that when browsing online websites or even social media like Reddit, Twitter, or Facebook, you are most likely not interacting with human beings. Instead, as the theory goes, you are trapped in a cycle of robotic interactions with digital programs where the end goal is to either manipulate behavior or generate profit. It sounds
Manipulate behavior und generate profits ist eigentlich, geht Hand in Hand, ne?
matrixy, I know, the concept of existing online and only ever interacting with robots without even knowing it, but the bare bones of this theory is that generating online content through the mass propagation of bot networks and artificial tools allows people to manipulate search results, algorithmic promotion, and consumer behavior, which ultimately means profit through advertising, affiliate sales, even malicious attacks, or other similar methods. The most extreme part of this theory alleges that there is a small but nefarious group of powerful actors who exercise control over this activity for personal benefit. But with a lack of definitive evidence in that category, my focus today is on the broader underlying concept that the internet as we all know it is on a consistent downward spiral. To really begin, we need to establish something that many people may find to be shocking at the onset, which is that the basic theory itself has already been proven as true. According to analysis done by cloud security firm Barracuda Networks, less than 40% of internet traffic is human. A staggering 64% of all traffic online is composed of bots, with 25% being helpful bots and 39% being harmful. Now, some of you may be wondering, what does helpful and harmful actually mean in this?
Ja, und was Sie jetzt konkret mit Traffic meinen? Meinen Sie damit jetzt wirklich das Datenvolumen oder was? Nach die Babsi.
Context, and the short answer is that helpful bots positively impact websites and users. Think of search engine crawlers, customer service programs, or threat prevention, while harmful bots perpetrate things like data theft, DDoS attacks, or spread malware. We as humans already make up substantially less than half of all online traffic, but the figures get even worse. This right here is a quarterly report of actioned fake accounts by Facebook from Statista starting in fourth quarter 2017 and ending in 2022. Collectively, in that time frame, 5 years, Facebook has suspended over 27 billion fake accounts. On a macro level, the trend is quite obviously rising, and what's more, in a single quarter, Facebook routinely suspends upwards of 1.7, even 2.2 billion fake profiles, demonstrating the abominable scale of generated false traffic, at least for social media. And let's not forget, these are just the ones that they catch. Still, that's a known problem, and it's an issue that's been growing in the background for at least the past 10 years. What's the next stage of the process? All right, once again, especially given the fast approaching holiday season, it's time to pay the bills and give the community a substantial discount in the process on a service that pretty much every single internet user has a verifiable use case for. Surfshark, today's sponsor, is a VPN, a virtual... You probably should. Surfshark also unlocks additional content on streaming websites like Netflix. Is this during the channel? The next stage of the process is this. Generative AI has been sweeping across the commercial landscape with untold consequences, but one of the mainstream applications it is now primarily used for is content generation. Here's a
Hm.
couple of examples.
Mhm.
Quote, anyone can make 5 to 10
Ja, also ich habe das ja auch damals schon spekuliert, dass in dem Moment, wo die Bilderkennungssoftware schon so gut ist und die Generation von Bildern und so, dann ist das sozusagen nur noch eine Frage der Zeit, bis Videos funktionieren. Und ich hatte ja auch damals schon spekuliert, dass diese Kanäle, die diese Horrorvideos für die Babys machen, dass das auch schon automatisch generierter Content ist.
$10,000 a month running AI TikTok accounts. Unfortunately, most people aren't aware of this. Here's the blueprint to go from $0 to $10,000 a month. End quote. What we see here is a collection of AI generated TikTok videos using tools like 11 Labs for the voice, ChatGPT for the script, Midjourney or Dolly for the visuals, etc., etc. And the total viewership is in the hundreds of thousands. Sure, just one example, and yeah, that's relatively small in the grand scheme of TikTok, especially, but what's missing is that this is now a burgeoning cottage industry. Here's another one. Quote, lazy AI setup kit to make $10,000 per month. CapCut for editing, 11 Labs for voiceovers, DALL-E, AI images, story blocks for stock clips.
Was ich zu OpenAI und Springer sage, ja, der Döpfner hatte ja zu Elon Musk auch schon richtig viel Kontakt und hatte ihm ja schon den kompletten Plan ausgelegt, wie man Twitter in ein Right-Wing-Propaganda-Apparat umbauen muss. Also OpenAI und Springer, glorreiche Zukunft auf jeden Fall.
ChatGPT, feed your brain ideas, whatever that means. Swipe builder for writing copy. End quote. Of course, it would be completely understandable for viewers to think, well, TikTok is a shithole anyway, so why does this matter? But the sad fact is that the concept of generating fast, easy, low quality content with AI and then monetizing it with advertising is not just confined to one area. It's
Eben, also es geht ja nicht darum, dass der Inhalt irgendwie sinnvoll ist oder dass der jetzt besonders viel geklickt wird. Es geht darum, dass er überhaupt geklickt wird. Weil wenn das Generieren des Contents nichts mehr kostet, dann da macht man ja nicht ein Video pro Tag, sondern man macht einfach 10.000 Videos pro Tag.
proliferating across the entire online world. Thread after thread after thread, hundreds of thousands of people viewing, interacting with, and attempting to emulate these results. And the platforms that they target are everything from TikTok to YouTube to general websites. Here's one of the worst offenders, or examples rather, detailed perfectly, demonstrating precisely what I'm driving at. This person refers to the concept as an SEO heist, a search engine optimization heist. But the real name for it is the enshittification of the internet. The process goes like this. Find a competitor, export their sitemap, turn a list of their URLs into article titles, and then create 1,800 articles with generative AI in just a couple of hours. The user goes into great detail on precisely how they did it, but one of the primary tools that they use is called Byword. Here's the thing. Byword is an AI-powered article
Right-Wing, also klar. Rechtenpropaganda halt, AfD und so. Bildzeitung. Döpfner. Ich meine Döpfner halt.
generation tool that openly states on their website, quote, prioritizing by traffic. When we're talking about thousands of pages, it's simply not viable to edit all of them prior to publishing. This is partially because SEO is a long-term game and the benefits of having pages rank sooner will likely outweigh the costs of having unedited content live. Equally though, not many brands can afford the sheer
SEO ist, dass man bei Google ganz oben steht, ne? Search Engine Optimizing.
amount of resources required to edit that much content. This is why my advice is to typically not edit the content and just put it live. As and when pages start to rank, prioritize your editing based on what's generating the most traffic. End quote. That right there is very obvious, but let's just call it what it is. Generate as much low value, low quality content as you can, edit none of it, fact check none of it, and just put it out there. Keep in mind, the original thread this tool was referenced by produced 1,800 articles in the span of a few hours, targeted them at a legitimate competing website, and siphoned off all of its traffic. Almost 500,000 monthly page visits, where 13,000 keywords were allegedly now on the first page of Google. Speaking of that notorious first page, for a time, when Googling Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, a famous Hawaiian ukulele player, the first results were AI-generated images. And if you thought that this would be an isolated incident, you'd be dead wrong. The invasive nature of generative content is already infecting mainstream publications. Sports Illustrated, exposed by Fortune, had multiple staff writers visible on their website, including this man, named Drew Ortiz, listed as a product reviews team member. His biography on the website read, quote, Drew likes to say that he grew up in the wild, which is partially true. He grew up in a farmhouse surrounded by woods, fields, and a creek. Drew has spent much of his life outdoors and is excited to guide you through his never-ending list of the best products to keep you from falling to the perils of nature. Nowadays, there is rarely a weekend goes by where Drew isn't out camping, hiking, or just back on his parents' farm, end quote. Yeah, Drew certainly likes to say that, but in reality, he's not even real. His photograph is a headshot that was available on an AI image generation marketplace, and to really drive home the enshittification angle, let me just read a quote from one of the articles he published. Quote, volleyball can be a little tricky to get into, especially without an actual ball to practice with. You'll have to drill in the fundamentals in your head before you can really play the game the way it was meant to be played, and for that you'll need a dedicated space to practice and a full-sized volleyball. However, finding a good volleyball can be tough. Luckily for you, we found some of the best full-sized volleyballs in 2022 that are perfect for practicing your serves and sets every day, end quote. Remember, dead internet theory surmises that the majority of content we interact with, read, or click on is artificial, and the primary purpose of that content is to manipulate, control, or profit from the very few human users that are left. This article, if you can even call it that, is from a fake writer at a main stage publication with garbage tier falsified content simply intended to direct people into purchasing a product, epitomizing the very title of this video. Now, I suppose it would be prudent to acknowledge that I'm not exactly a novice here when it comes to bot traffic and artificial intelligence. Over the course of my recent work, I've experimented with integrations for ChatGPT on Twitter, creating a cutting-edge hate bot of sorts, really, to farm engagement for the television show Velma as an experiment. I've explored political propaganda bot networks and created false identities. I've generated artificial profiles, purchased existing influencer accounts, and basically interacted with the systems that I'm speaking about here and now for the purpose of learning about them. And I can say with absolute certainty that the general level of quality online is rapidly degrading at a speed very few of us can even comprehend. NewsGuard recently released a report where they identified 49 low-quality news and information entire websites that appear to be completely generated by AI. Quickly updating the report with an editor's note, because no, it's not 49, it's actually hundreds. These websites repurpose and regurgitate existing news stories from established websites, running them through generative AI filters to avoid direct plagiarism, or in some cases not even doing that, just scraping and reposting them. Sure, this is a problem that has existed for a very long time in some form or another, but it's a problem that has now been given jet fuel by the emergence of commercial technology where anyone with a smartphone can generate thousands of shit-tier articles and blog posts per hour. Bottom line, while the examples here are endless, from Amazon to Etsy, social media, and beyond, the effects are pretty straightforward. Dead internet theory, setting aside some of the more extreme or sinister implications regarding conspiracy and control by a dedicated group of internet overlords, refers to the idea that the online world you engage with is populated primarily with falsified traffic, personas, and content. That theory is true. It is true objectively, verifiably, and also, unfortunately, as it continues to escalate every single day, it will be exacerbated by the rising tide of generative AI and the pseudo-entrepreneurial shitshow of people thinking it's their ticket to making millions. The enshittification of the internet is all too real, and we all get to live through its golden age because it's in full swing right now. Fun times. That's it. If you want to support, there are links down below. The video sponsor, of course, locals.
Das Video ist zu Ende jetzt, aber also an sich ja, also wenn man auf große Verteiler abfährt, dann ist das ein Ding, ne? Also was meine ich damit, ne? Zum Beispiel Amazon-Bewertungen oder so. Das war schon immer klar, dass das irgendwie fake ist und dass da ein Businessmodell daraus gemacht wird aus den Klicks und so. Ja, genau. Degenerate Normal Prior, das ist genau die Frage, ne? Warum ist die Enshittification eigentlich ein Problem? Ich denke, ähm, ob man jetzt sozusagen, ähm, na, wie soll ich sagen, so gewöhnlichen, gewöhnlichen Pop-Content hat oder ob der direkt aus der Konserve kommt, ist fast egal, ne? Ähm, Ich denke auch. Also, man hatte schon immer das Problem bei Informationsverteilung und Kunst oder so, dass es immer populäre Sachen gab, die den Wettbewerb gehackt haben und die Quality auf Minimum runtergedreht haben, aber dafür die Vermarktungsability sozusagen maximiert haben. Und das ist jetzt sozusagen einfach nur vollautomatisierter Schwachsinn. Und ich denke, es muss eine Menschenkultur daraus emergieren, die einfach die das nimmt als das, was es ist, nämlich nutzlos. Und sich eigentlich und trotzdem sozusagen ihr eigenes Ding macht. Also, solange wie die Leute noch nicht davon ausgehen, dass ich jetzt zum Beispiel ein Bot bin. Obwohl, ich meine, selbst wenn ich ein Bot wäre, ne, die Inhalte sind ja trotzdem interessant. Von daher, ich weiß nicht, also nur weil jetzt sozusagen Bots den Scheiß machen, den Bibis Beauty Palace letztens noch gemacht hat. Ich weiß nicht, ob die Erde dadurch jetzt ein schlechterer Platz wird. Eigentlich. Ne? Und ja, dieser generische Content, nenne ich es mal, ne? Es ist bloß schade, weil es so viel Energie aufbraucht, ne? Wenn man das jetzt sozusagen in dem Sinne digitalisiert, automatisiert. Aber sonst, das ist sozusagen eher quasi ja, so ein Tip of the Iceberg, ne? So ein Ding, was jetzt sozusagen Konsumenten mit so einer romantischen Vorstellung von dem, was das Internet eigentlich ist, wirklich scheiße finden. Aber das, also ich meine, da kann man auch wirklich nur enttäuscht davon sein, wenn man halt gerne sowieso RTL 2 News gerne guckt und wissen will, was irgendein Popstar jetzt zu Weihnachten gegessen hat oder so. Ich weiß nicht, also mich tangiert das jetzt auch nicht. Ich habe nicht das Gefühl, dass ich die Zielgruppe davon bin. Mm, Es ist natürlich schon noch eine andere Frage, wenn irgendwann sozusagen Danke Banzai, Bukar Banzai. Es ist natürlich schon so noch eine Frage, dass wenn irgendwann sozusagen also wenn ihr alle irgendwann Bots seid und ich den Unterschied nicht mehr merke oder 50% meiner Community aus Bots besteht, ne? Dann ist die Frage, wie schlimm wäre das, ne? Weil es ist dann sozusagen ein Placebo und es ist eine Beschäftigungstherapie und es ist weiterhin so eine Art Simulacra für soziale Interaktion, die wir im Internet ja sowieso haben. Ne? Also abgesehen davon, dass ich natürlich ständig aufrufe, dass ihr mich auf Konzerten besuchen kommt, wenn ich irgendwo bin, zum Beispiel bei Cannibal Corpse in Leipzig oder so. Ansonsten kann ich ja eh nicht verifizieren, dass ihr echte Menschen seid in dem Sinne. Und ihr könnt auch nicht ganz sicher sein, dass ich wirklich ein echter Mensch bin. Und ich sag mal, in 10, 20 Jahren ist das dann wirklich der Status quo. Ne? Wir können das nicht wissen, ob das Bots sind oder nicht. Ja. Und die Frage ist dann sozusagen, wie wichtig ist das eigentlich, das zu wissen? Für wen ist das wichtig und warum? Das sind eigentlich interessante Fragen. Ne? Die stellt er jetzt hier nicht. Er ist einfach nur wirklich, er findet das nicht gut. Ich verstehe es auch irgendwie, aber ich verstehe es nur sozusagen auf dem Level von, ich romantisiere hier etwas in das Internet rein. Na gut. Pakistan. Keine Gnade für Afghanen.